Thank you, Dan. Good evening once again. And we have two clubs who have done well to seemingly recover from the hangovers at the end of last season. Of course, for Middlesbrough, there was the disappointment of losing out in the playoffs rather limply against Aston Villa in the semi-finals, having gradually clawed their way back into the top six under Tony Pulis last season. And for West Brom, of course, their long spell, 8 seasons in the Premier League, came to an end in pretty poor fashion. Tony Pulis, of course, was the man in charge at the start of the season. Alan Pardew achieved little during his brief time in charge, but Darren Moore did at least instill a minor feel-good factor in the face of failure. And of course, he has the job now of taking West Bromwich Albion back to the Premier League. Tony Pulis will hope this is the year for Middlesbrough. And these two big clubs come face to face in what is the biggest game of the Championship season so far. But of course, there will be so many over the next 9 months or so. Here are the two sides. One change for Middlesbrough following that very impressive 2-0 success at Bristol City. A change in formation as well. Lewis Wing, who started the season really well in midfield, he drops to the bench. Daniel Ayala comes in following injury. Of course, he is a central defender, so they will switch to 3 at the back with Ryan Shotton and George Friend as the wing-backs. Aidan Flint, Dale Fry and Daniel Ayala, one of 3 central defenders in front of the goalkeeper Darren Randolph. Adam Clayton and Johnny Howsam holding in midfield with Stuart Downing and Martin Braithwaite supporting Britt Asomba Longa. As for West Brom, unsurprisingly, it is the same side which thumped Queen's Park Rangers 7-1 in one of the most eye-catching results in the EFL so far this season. Sam Johnston in goal, Tosin Adarabioyo, Carl Bartley and Amal Hagazi will be 3 central defenders, with Matt Phillips and Kieran Gibbs operating in the wider areas. Jake Livermore will be in midfield along with Chris Brunt, with Harvey Barnes on loan from Leicester and Jay Rodriguez, who has had a terrific start to the season, supporting Dwight Gale in attack. And it's West Brom who are about to get the game underway here at the Riverside Stadium in their changed kit, which is predominantly black with sky blue trim. Middlesbrough, of course, in their famous red shirts with the white band across the chest, white shorts and red socks. And the footballing weekend is underway here on TalkSport 2, the home of the EFL. And if we have a winner in this game tonight, they will be top of the table, a position with Middlesbrough currently hold, and they clear very quickly on the far side there left. Middlesbrough playing from left to right in the first half, and it's George Friend who just boots it out of play, and Adarabioyo will take the first throw-in of the evening. Alongside me is the former Wolverhampton Wanderers goalkeeper Matt Murray, and this has the feel of a really big game even in August, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. Yeah, definitely, because both of these teams have big aspirations, and you can just feel it and say the setup, the pitch is lovely, but some seasoned Premier League players on show here who are very experienced, so yeah, definitely big feel for it and a big statement. And even going top of the league now, you know, being up there at this early stage of the season still does mean a lot.
Sam Johnston, the West Bromwich Albion goalkeeper, a permanent signing from Manchester United, having spent last season on loan at Aston Villa, and he kept so many clean sheets in their season, which of course also ended in the playoffs, but 2 of those came against Middlesbrough in the semi-finals, when a single goal here at the Riverside Stadium was enough to take Steve Bruce's team through towards Wembley, as a long ball is played forward over the top for West Bromwich Albion, wide towards the far side, looking for Livermore, but it's cleared out of play and it will be a throw-in. Quickly into the feet of Dwight Gale, who of course enjoyed success here in the North East with Newcastle in the Championship 2 years ago. It's into the feet of Livermore on the far side, who tries to jab it out wide towards Gale again, but it's beyond him and Matt Phillips and out of play, and it will be a throw-in for Middlesbrough. And these two sides last met in the Premier League a couple of years ago. It was 0-0 at the Hawthorns and 1-1 here at the Riverside. 2 fairly tight and dour games, and Middlesbrough were fairly tight and dour as they went straight back to the Championship. Of course, West Bromwich Albion survived 2 years ago, but the quality of football did not please many of the locals. Here it's Howsam charging forward now for Middlesbrough, back towards Stuart Downing, now 34 years of age, wide to this near side the right, and Shotton, who will try and get forward as the wing back. Downing with a high diagonal ball from right to left, wide to the far side. He was looking for the run of Friend, but it's quickly cut out, and Jay Rodriguez will try and link up with his midfield, but he's given the ball away, and the shot fired in from Braithwaite from some way outside the penalty area, wide on the left-hand side, and it's about 10 or 15 yards wide of the near post.
Well, you can already see that the wing-backs are going to have to be disciplined for both teams in this system. We talked about it in the build-up, and when West Brom have the ball, Middlesbrough almost like a back five, but then you could see that when Middlesbrough started to attack, the width is coming from the wing-backs for Middlesbrough, and it was Phillips there who had to track all the way back, did his job, but then it was Rodriguez who lost it. But yeah, you can see that Braithwaite's obviously confident shooting from there, but drags his effort well wide.
West Brom looking to build again, and it's wide to this near side, and Kyle Bartley, who was one of their cash buys during the summer, moving from Swansea City, a fellow relegated team. Chris Brunt looking to twist and turn in the midfield area, and Adam Clayton just had hold of his shirt, and it will be a free kick for West Brom, taken quickly on this near side, and it's Gibbs who will try and bring it forward, but he's closed down by Shotton. He was looking for the movement from Gale to be sooner on this near side, and now Hegazi will play it long downfield up towards the edge of the Middlesbrough penalty area, but it's overhit and will bobble all the way through to Darren Randolph, who has not conceded a goal in the league since the first half of the opening game, as clean sheets have been very easy for Middlesbrough to come by so far this season.
I think two of the best goalkeepers in the division on show, probably up there. I think Darren Randolph is a fantastic goalkeeper. Sam Johnson, as you mentioned, was so good for Aston Villa and a really, really good signing for West Brom. So two good goalkeepers, two good defences, and but hopefully they're busy tonight.
4 minutes played, 0-0 at the Riverside Stadium on the home of the EFL TalkSport 2. Howson plays it infield towards Downing, bearing down on the penalty area. Now Howson will scoop it wide to the far side, and Friend, he delivers the cross in. Howson with a downward header, which took a deflection on the way through, and it goes behind, and a goal kick has been given in the end, but the first real opportunity for Middlesbrough, and it was Howson with a downward header.
Yeah, and I think it's his own man, Asombalonga, that gets in the way. So George Friend doing well to get forward, puts the ball into good area. Howson heads it down, might be sneaking inside the post, and comes off the backside of Britt Asombalonga and goes behind.
Well, that was heading in towards that far post as well, as West Brom tried to build with Harvey Barnes, but he has now given the ball away, and it's very deliberately played forward by Ayala towards the edge of the penalty area. Braithwaite, the Dane, will try and chase, but Hegazi will step in ahead of him, but a dreadful ball on the edge of his own penalty area, straight towards Howson, but he's quickly helped out by Brunt, and he really owes his captain there, because that was a dreadful ball from Hegazi, but Borough unable to capitalise with 5.5 minutes gone, 0-0.
Yeah, well, it's such a tight game, the last thing you want to do is give the opposition a gift. So I think that both teams all in all have sat off each other, but the chance came there. It wasn't even a real pressure, it wasn't lots of pressure on Hegazi, but it was a really sloppy ball. But thankfully for him, Chris Brunt read the danger, sensed it, reacted so well. Otherwise Middlesbrough are going to bear down on goal. But I think Tony Pulis will be happy with the two sides with the start, and that chance there for Howson, the header came off his own man. How unlucky was he?
Well, Hegazi, one of the World Cup returnees, playing tonight, as the ball almost breaks to Jay Rodriguez on the edge of the Middlesbrough penalty area. It's now gathered by Gibbs, who will try and attack on this near side. Fires the ball in. Was it deflected? Yes, it was, and John Brooks, our referee, has given the first corner of the game to West Brom.
Yeah, and where corners are going to be so important. I thought maybe would Chris Brunt be on the deliveries, but it's not. It's Matt Phillips coming over, maybe going to work the short. But you got to stay with your men, and both people have got real threats in their team. Both teams have got real threats, real good players attacking the ball. Be about delivery, desire, stay with your man.
It's worked short between Rodriguez and Phillips, then swept towards the edge of the penalty area to nobody in a dark blue shirt, but Brunt will recover, quickly finds Phillips again down this near side, the West Brom left, looking to tease Asombalonga. The cross in was dangerous, but it was volleyed clear at the near post by Flint, and now Middlesbrough will try and break themselves with Braithwaite, who dabs it down the line. I think he was caught in the face accidentally by Brunt, and the former Northern Ireland international, apologises. There's also a word with the referee, and it's a throw into Middlesbrough on this near side.
Yeah, good to see the players. No malice in it. He caught him accidentally. Shake hands, move on. It's a contact sport. But you could just see there, I think West Brom probably tried to work the short corner because they're looking at the height of that Middlesbrough side and thinking, even though we got some big boys, we don't fancy it, so tried to work a short one. But then when crosses came in as well, a wall of red shirts and very difficult to get on the end of it.
Chris Brunt making his 379th league appearance for West Bromwich Albion this evening, brings him level with the legendary Don Howe on the all-time club list. And Don Howe made his debut for West Brom on this day back in 1955, which in those days was probably the first day of the season, but the season of course gets earlier and earlier the longer we go on, as Brunt plays a good ball forward towards young Harvey Barnes, who tries to spin away from the challenge of Clayton. Back towards Livermore, down the line right hand side for Barnes once again, and at the moment West Brom are asking most of the questions. Fry was driven out of the centre to try and make the challenge. Barnes with the ball whipped in, oh goodness me, almost an own goal. It was volleyed against the underside of his own crossbar, I think by Fry, and Middlesbrough escaped.
Yeah, or Fry or Flint, I'm not sure, whoever it was, but it was, it might have been Fry, but it was a lucky escape there, because Randolph would have stood no chance. Ball into a dangerous situation, lucky escape from Middlesbrough.
No need for goal line technology, it bounced clearly away from the line, but that's a real escape for Middlesbrough as they come forward now at the other end. A driven ball in towards the near post is volley clear by Hagazi, controlled by Barnes, who spreads it neatly wide to this near side, and there is space and time for Kieran Gibbs to bring it forward. Dwight Gale comes short. He's got time to assess his options and plays it back into the centre circle, where Jake Livermore then very quickly, unfussily, transfers it wide to the far side, and Adarabayo, he's got the opportunity to go beyond Friend, but he takes him on a couple of step overs, and the cross was too deep and it skids behind one bounce for a goal kick. But Middlesbrough still considering that let off, and it was Aidan Flint who clattered that ball against the underside of his own crossbar.
Yeah, well, it shows you if you get into these areas and deliver balls into the box, it's a horrible ball to defend, and it was a brilliant ball in from Harvey Barnes, fantastic ball in, and is it Flint?
Yeah, it's Flint.
Yeah, and he's facing his own goal, gets it all wrong, and that's because he goes with his right foot across him. He should really go with his left foot and try and get a big surface on it and clear it, but he slashes at it, and a lucky escape, but really dangerous ball in. And we talked about Harvey Barnes being one of the danger men. He's one of the ones, and he's ended up in a wide situation, but for defenders and goalkeepers they're horrible, and nearly an own goal.
Well, he scored 35 goals in the last 4 seasons for Bristol City, Aidan Flint. He's goal hungry.
Yeah, he is. He want to get at the other end, and I think he's a good signing. There's been talk about him moving before. It's been a good signing with Gibson going, and he is a real threat.
Tony Pulis type signing, isn't he?
He is, and he's a fantastic threat, but nearly got that horribly wrong, and he was at fault against Millwall with a pass back early on.
Barnes now with a shot from about 35 yards out for West Brom, which drifts harmlessly wide. We have played 10 minutes at the Riverside Stadium, and it's Middlesbrough 0, West Bromwich Albion 0 on TalkSport 2 with Screwfix. For the latest offers, visit your local store or screwfix.com. Here when you need us. And these two sides meeting in the Championship for the first time in 9 years. I was actually here the last time West Brom met Middlesbrough in the Championship at the Riverside, and they won on that day by 5-0. Chris Brunt scoring a couple, and that was one of the final games in charge for Gareth Southgate before he moved on from the Riverside Stadium. Howson coming forward now for Middlesbrough on this near side, the right, has support from Shotton, but it spins out of play off the challenge of Brunt. Shotton thinks about the long throw, but instead goes into the feet of the Dane Braithwaite on the edge of the penalty area. Shotton's delivery finds a Sombalonga. Can he turn? Well, he did, got the shot in, but he was offside.
Yeah, definitely offside there. You can see they're looking to try and find Sombalonga as quickly as they can, but it's good defending from West Brom. They just stepped up, held their line, and Sombalonga was offside, coming back from an offside position, and it's a tight one, but correct decision, and good defending from West Brom.
Good crowd inside the Riverside Stadium this evening. It's a beautiful evening here on Teesside. There's a splash of late evening sunshine illuminating the roof of the stand on the far side as Gale has been fouled, and it will be a free kick. Ayala with the challenge, a free kick for West Brom on halfway. There are a couple of sections of empty red seating either side of the West Bromwich Albion supporters, and a good number have made their journey up from the West Midlands. Many of them are still arriving. The M1 was closed earlier on today. A couple of really nasty accidents, and that will have hampered the travel plans of a number of West Brom supporters, as Assombalonga is able to twist and turn on this near side, but he carries it too far into the considerable figure of Fugazi. He will clear and find Phillips on the far side. The West Brom right, Jay Rodriguez, with the long hair these days, is offering support, but Phillips will go himself. Maybe thought about dropping it off to Rodriguez, but in the end uses him as a decoy. But there is the opportunity for Fry and Flint to combine and eventually clear the ball away for Middlesbrough. Long downfield, flicked on by Braithwaite and then Assombalonga, but Fugazi will tidy up this time for West Brom and find his goalkeeper Sam Johnston.
Yeah, good defending from Fugazi there. I think Jay Rodriguez will be going to be a really important player for West Brom, and what both managers will be happy with, that the big guys, they would only have had aspirations really going to the Premier League. So once their window was shut, then they know that they're going to keep the sort of the big players like Livermore, like Rodriguez, players like that, and which is very settling for the managers and what they want.
Brunch with the early ball forward over the top, and there was a chase on the far side for Livermore, but he seemed to foul Aidan Flint, but the ball went out of play anyway, and there's just a word from the referee, and the goal kick has been given. Why do players make those sort of challenges?
It's a little petulant, wasn't it? A frustration one. I think he made the forward run. He knew that the defender was going to shepherd it out of play. So yeah, just pushed him over. No real point in it. But I suppose a free kick from there or a goal kick doesn't make much difference. But I just think it was more a frustration one. He's not trying to hurt anyone, but yeah, I don't really understand it, to be honest.
Both managers out on the edge of their own technical areas. Tony Pulis under the baseball cap. As always, he's always a great advertisement for what's in the club shop, Tony Pulis. He's to the right, to the left is the huge, sturdy figure of Darren Moore, who of course did not guide his side to survival last season, but they were 10 points adrift when he took over, and they finished 5 points away from safety, which of course they're down, and that doesn't change that, but at least there was a sign of progress.
It's a sign of progress. Leaves the Albion fans thinking what might have been, but it gives them a feeling of optimism coming into the Championship, and the players believe in him.
Howson now tricking beyond a couple of challenges down this near side for Middlesbrough. The cross is blocked, but he's able to find Shotton. His cross then strikes Gibbs, and it's sliced into the penalty area by Howson on this near side, but beyond the near post and behind for a goal kick. And Graham Jones is now the assistant manager for West Bromwich Albion. Last seen with Belgium at the World Cup, of course, part of the backroom team for Roberto Martinez, and he worked with him in a number of clubs, and they go back a long way, don't they? All the way back to Doncaster Rovers before Darren Moore made it at West Brom.
They do, and Darren Moore will know that he's experienced as a player, he's been around coaching, but he's inexperienced as a manager, so he needs people around him that have been there and done it at a high level, people he can trust. Darren Moore's a very, very good guy, and Graham Jones will come in, and I think there'll be a nice foil for each other. The flow in football, Darren Moore really taking care of the defensive side, and they'll respect each other and be a team, and hopefully put performances in on the pitch is what they'll be looking to do.
15 minutes played on TalkSport 2. Middlesbrough 0, West Bromwich Albion 0 on the home of the EFL, as Braithwaite comes forward now, wide to the right-hand side of the penalty area, and Assombalonga. Fugazi snapping away at his heels, but Assombalonga's managed to find Shotton by the corner flag. Back in field towards Assombalonga. Both he and Fugazi were having a pulling match on the edge of the penalty area. The referee happy for that to continue. Now Clayton, square to the far side, the left, and Downing, and now further square towards Friend, who is hugging the touchline, and he skips away from the challenge of Phillips far too easily. Then did it strike the hand of Adebayo inside the penalty area? Not according to the referee, who was given a corner.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. I'd like to see the replay. Brilliant play from George Friend. Adebayo comes over. Definitely not an intentional handball, but how high? Oh, his arm is up.
That's a penalty.
Yeah, his arm is up. Has it hurt his face though, or definitely his arm? He's in the box. Or was it? I'm not sure if it's come off his face a bit, but when you put your arm up that high, if it does hit it, then a penalty. George Friend was convinced it should have been.
Well, the corner has worked short towards Assombalonga, now delivered deeper into the penalty area. Fugazi with a header across his own penalty area, and now West Brom will try and clear, and it's an excellent ball forward from Gale, and there is space for Barnes down this near side, the left. Support arriving in the centre. Barnes may go himself, but it's a low scuffed right-footed shot. He was going for the curler, shaped towards the far post. No power, straight at the goalkeeper, Darren Randolph.
That's football at its best. I love the way that counter-attacking football is played, the transition and the desire for both teams. So West Brom defend the corner well, the short corner. They've got a lot of threats, but look at Dwight Gale busting a gut to get up and join in the play. He's the one who played the ball up. Harvey Barnes as well, but should he have then tried to look for Dwight Gale? But what will please Tony Pulis is the amount of red shirts that really worked hard to get back in as well.
Howson infield towards Assombalonga on the edge of the penalty area for Middlesbrough with his back to goal. It's back towards the veteran Downing. Infield again towards Braithwaite, but West Brom were able to clear initially. But here is Howson again. Now Downing will try and come in field, but goes wide towards Shotton, and Shotton, the wing back, delivers the cross in, which strikes the ankles of Kieran Gibbs and spins high into the air and loose behind for a corner. I
wonder this one if they'll deliver it. You've got some brilliant set ball takers, deliverers here in the squad. Downing looks like he's going to put this one in, and Ayala is a real threat. Fry's a good height. Aidan Flint, everyone will get a chat to Flint. Ayala scored a lot of goals last season from set pieces, so let's see what happens now.
Middlesbrough scored 12 goals from corners in the Championship last season, the most at this level. They work it short towards Howson, right-footed shot from him, pings into the air and is blocked by the face of Rodriguez. It's regathered by Clayton, wide towards Downing again. He will try and go beyond Brunt. Two players in the autumn days of their careers, and the cross from Downing is blocked by Brunt, and it's another corner.
Yeah, another corner, but the one before again worked short. So this is the fourth corner of the game, but three of them we've seen have all been short. And I think that when you've got such big target men in there, put it in there, have a look at and whip it in swinging.
You can imagine there will be blocks all over the place here from both sides if it goes longer. It's Downing in towards that near post area, and it's nodded away, unchallenged by Livermore. And now Rodriguez will try and pick it up, but he's given the ball away to Clayton, and Gibbs will recover for West Brom by the corner flag on this near side in the left back area. His clearance there only finds Shotton, who neatly returns it to Downing. Infield, left foot shot from him is turned aside by Sam Johnston. The ball is still in play and the clearance completed by Gibbs.
Yeah, you know what Downing wants to do, wants to come in on that left foot, but good goalkeeping from Sam Johnston. He's got bodies in the way, so he stays back, he sees it all the way, and he gets a strong hand to it, and that's why he kept so many clean sheets last season for Aston Villa. Now he's in the West Brom side, £5 million, former Manchester United man, but he gets height on it and he gets width on it, so you'd expect him to make it, but he still has to be made, and it's a good save from Sam Johnston in that West Brom goal.
As a result of Gibbs' clearance, Shotton is now winding up for a long throw, and he's been winging these in since he was in Tony Pulis' team at Stoke City some time ago. Shotton now with that delivery, high and flat into the penalty area, nodded away at the near post, and then Rodriguez will scoop it clear towards Barnes on the halfway line, but it's neatly defended by both Fry and then Friend, and Livermore fouls Friend, and he's testing the patience of the referee here, Jake Livermore.
Yeah, no need to go to ground there, and I thought he showed the experience before when he defended a corner in that front hole. He had a little push, though, didn't he, a petulant one only a few minutes ago, and there George Friend has beaten him, and he does dive in, and he's been lucky. I think he's escaped the booking, but he's been lucky there, because you don't want to be playing over 70 minutes with a yellow card. But just looking at the replays there, Gibbs has headed it, but Bartley is definitely pulling Aidan Flint's shirt, a hand on it, and they'll be saying to the referee, keep an eye on that.
Shotton coming forward again now. Jinky wing play from him down the right hand side, and again the cross is deflected behind off Kieran Gibbs for yet another Middlesbrough corner, and we have had 5 corners in the opening 20 minutes, 4 of them now to Borough, and Flint and Ayala are forward again, and we saw for Bristol City last season just how many goals Aidan Flint scores from set pieces.
Yeah, if the delivery's right and you put it in the right area, you can defend all you like. He is so good. He's 6'7", 6'8", he's huge.
9 goals for him last season. It's worked short again towards Clayton, low into the near post area. The header is flicked on. It was Braithwaite, but it took a deflection, and it's gathered comfortably by Sam Johnston.
I wouldn't want to be in the dressing room at half-time and you've played this many short corners. Aidan Flint, he said, he's a big guy.
It must be to instruction, surely.
But they'll be saying any danger, put one in there, hang it in there. At least if you work it short, then get a delivery in with some second movements. But at the moment, they've been comfortably defended.
Applause for the Middlesbrough subs, and in particular Mo Besic as he warms up beneath us, the player who has returned to the Riverside Stadium on loan from Everton. as Carl Bartley finds his goalkeeper Sam Johnston, returned to Bartley once again, and now Gibbs has the opportunity to break forward down the left-hand side. Had Barnes wide on the left, but it's infield instead towards Livermore. A neat pirouette from him beyond Downing. And Adebayo had the opportunity to move forward, but instead it's infield towards Livermore once again. Chris Brunt, who has a wand of a left foot, goes for goal, but even with that wand of a left foot from 40 yards, it will always go high and wide.
Is that commentator's curse there, how we talk about it? Yeah, he's gone well wide. But all in all, I like Chris Brunt in this position. I've seen him so many times patrolling the wide areas, but here he's been disciplined, he's broken up play well, reacted well when West Brom got in dangerous situations, kept play ticking over, and he's got quality from there. But that was very, very optimistic, and looking back at it, it was the wrong choice. But I think it's been quite an even start to this game, the biggest chance being the Aidan Flint nearly scoring an own goal. But both managers will say that the teams have been right in this game.
22 minutes played, 0-0. We have a great view of the Teesside industrial skyline from our position here high at the back of the main stand, and the hills away to the right hand side. The sunshine has given way as the evenings begin to draw in, as the season gets a bit longer. Kieran Gibbs has a throw in for West Brom on this near side, finds Brunt back towards Gibbs again, who plays a dreadful ball in field straight to Downing. Clayton tries to win it back, but then Gibbs recovers his own error and then plays a good ball wide to this near side, and Jay Rodriguez, who was looking for support in field, instead finds Brunt, and it's back towards Livermore. And a clever ball from him wide to the left again, and Gibbs. And in possession, West Brom have offered the more controlled football so far, but it's the commentator's curse once again as Chris Brunt hoofs it straight out of play.
He does, and he's trying to hit that big switch, which is so important for the holding midfielders to play in this system, with the back three and the two sitters in there, and the wing backs providing the real width. But we wondered how the game would be. Would both teams really take it to each other, or would it be a bit more defensive? And I think, Middlesbrough ending up with a sort of back five, and it's going to be, the wing backs are going to be so key to this game. Really are, tracking up and down, who can hit the switches early. And the other little thing that I think has caused problems already this evening has been sloppy passes or unforced errors when the teams have been open and expansive and could have gone and created. But I think the width is definitely going to be where the joy comes from.
Downing hooks it wide to the far side, the left for Middlesbrough, and George Friend, but his ball down the line is blocked by Phillips. He then plays it in field, and it strikes Gale, and Phillips wins it back for West Brom, who do look to have weapons on the breakaway here, notably Gale and Barnes, and Rodriguez looking to bend his run to stay onside down the centre. Gibbs, though, instead plays it back towards Bartley, who steps away from Asombalonga's challenge into the feet of Rodriguez, who doesn't hold the ball up, but Barnes quickly takes over for West Brom. Here is Gale now with the peroxide rinse wide to this near side, and Gibbs, who has the opportunity to come in field and find Brunt with the left-footed ball into the penalty area, hooked on by Rodriguez. Phillips will try the shot, but he's flagged offside, and maybe Rodriguez should have gone for his flick on himself there, because he had the time.
Yeah, but I'd be interested to see this again, because I thought that Phillips was in an offside position when the first ball came in, but once Rodriguez touched it in the second phase, I thought Phillips was onside. But it's it was a good ball in, an early ball in from Brunt in, and that was much better quality from him. And if he could have maybe brought it down himself and got the shot off, but it'll be interesting to see that offside again. But we're getting replays, aren't we, on the monitor of the long throws that are coming into the box, and seeing the pullback from it was Gibbs on the shirt of Flint, and if he keeps doing that, then it is a penalty, and it will be given, and they would have marked the referee, called it to his attention.
Now Howson with a terrific run forward, left-footed shot from him from the edge of the penalty area, just dragged it a yard wide of the right-hand post. Johnston, I think, had it covered, but all the enterprise for Middlesbrough's midfield at the moment coming from Johnny Howson. Yeah, he's getting forward well, he's been a real threat, and he does well to get onto the loose ball, drive through them, beat a couple of challenges, and he has every right to shoot from there, but just drags it a little past Sam Johnson's left-hand post. But good play from Johnny Howson. He showed that he's going to be a threat tonight, had the header, now that one, and been very, very positive. Gale down this near side, the West Brom left, infield to Barnes, who has little first team experience but already looks to be a very important part of this West Brom team, as Livermore on the edge of the penalty area tries to execute a volley. It was a difficult ball, never quite came down for him, and the right-footed effort drifts some way wide. Yeah, it didn't really sit for him, but
Livermore this time in the West Brom midfield getting forward like Howson has for Middlesbrough, but it's very congested, very tight in that middle area. We're going to be difficult for him, and that's why they need to try and narrow up the Middlesbrough defence and then get that ball out wide quickly into these areas. You saw the joy when Harvey Barnes put that really lovely ball in. If you can do it quickly, then the defenders are going towards their own goal. So very hard to get through the middle when there's a back three in there and those central midfielders.
26 minutes played, 0-0 on TalkSport 2 as Friend coming forward, the left wing back in a central midfield possession, now plays it wide to the left hand side, and Braithwaite, and Downing will have the opportunity to try and attack once again, and he's hauled down on the edge of the penalty area, maybe a yard or two outside, and it's Jake Livermore once again, and that's his third challenge in the game, which has been drawn to the attention of the referee.
Yeah, George Friend is just sort of having a little sly chat there, because he's sort of in a little pull, he knew what he was doing there, and if it had been his first one, he'd say alright, but when he's done the diving in on the halfway line with the challenge on Friend, and that pull back as well, and the petulant push, he's very, very lucky not to be on a yellow card. But this is now a free kick in a very dangerous situation. Sam Johnson has to be brave. He has to protect his side of the goal. He's got to get his wall right. Are they going to jump? Are they going to stand? And but when he got Downing and people like that over the ball with his left foot, Howson as well, who wants to shoot from range, then you've got to be a brave goalkeeper to stand in there. But this is a very dangerous position.
Well, it will be Howson with the right foot or Downing with the left. It favours Howson, but it's Downing who plays it in looking for Ayala. It's cleared away towards this near side. Flint will try and return the cross. It's a good cross as well. There's confusion inside the penalty area, but West Brom eventually hack it clear in the shape of Harvey Barnes. Now Clayton with a high diagonal ball into the penalty area. Hagazi will rise to clear, and it's hooked clear by Phillips up towards the halfway line. Gale will challenge Fry, and Fry's done well to win the header not once but twice, and Middlesbrough are able to clear with a long ball forward again up towards Assombalonga, who believes he was being pushed and pulled there by Bartley. Nothing given by the referee, and it's headed out down this near side by the Spaniard Ayala, and it will be a throw-in to West Bromwich Albion. 28 and a half minutes played, 0-0 at the Riverside Stadium on TalkSport 2. Don't forget a double header tomorrow from the Premier League at 3 o'clock. It's Bournemouth against Everton in Matchday Live 2, and then at 5:30 I'll be alongside David Connolly at the City Ground for Forest against Birmingham in the Championship. And on Sunday, the Sunday exclusive with Sags and the team, live from Vicarage Road, a 1:30 start. It is Watford against Palace from the Premier League. Hagazi scoops a high ball wide to this near side. Gibbs does well to initially keep the ball in play, but he invites the challenge from Shotton, and then Brunt on halfway has to control the ball and knocks it infield towards Bartley. Right-footed ball from him is an early one, looking for the pace of Phillips, but overhit and behind for a goal kick.
Yeah, overhit. He needed more feel on that ball from Bartley. You could see what he's doing. Phillips out on that right. It started from out to in, trying to make that run in behind, which is hard to defend. I think Friend had seen it though and was tracking it, but needed the ball to be more floated. But there was a chance when Downing had that free kick. I thought he would shoot on goal in that position. Dinks it to the back post. Flint does so well to keep it alive, and he is a good footballer because he's 6'7", scores so many goals in his head. He is good with his feet. He's got a good range of passing, put a great ball into the box, and Ayala saw it late, and that's why it sort of hit him and dropped down, and West Brom got the ball to safety. But that was a dangerous moment for the West Brom side.
And to much ironic cheering from the home crowd, Middlesbrough have a free kick just inside the West Brom half, and Tony Pulis also has a word with Peter Banks, the fourth official. Clayton will take it wide to this near side, the right, and Shotton, and now Howson clips it over the top, looking for the run of Assombalonga. It's Shotton on the edge of the penalty area, who fires in a left-footed shot which is blocked. West Brom will look to break with their pace again, but here is Ayala for Borough. Quickly finds Shotton back towards Howson, and it's clipped over the top. Assombalonga is in behind Bartley down the right hand side, and his first time cross is blocked by Bartley, and it's yet another Middlesbrough corner. Yeah,
good defending though from Bartley, and you get a good run from Assombalonga into that channel area. But at the moment I've been very impressed with all the defenders, whether it's been for Middlesbrough or for West Brom, going into those wide areas, standing up, sticking to the task and stopping crosses. You'd see, if people talk about things in the modern game, I don't think people try hard enough to stop crosses, but at the moment crosses have been defended well.
Downing with a longer corner this time in towards the near post area. It's headed clear as far as Clayton, who finds Downing. A first time volley ball back into the penalty area, nodded away at the far post by Gibbs, but it breaks down for Middlesbrough until it's gathered again by Howson. A very patient ball from him wide to the left-hand side, and Friend on towards Braithwaite, who will try and come and fill beyond Adebayo and Phillips. He does it once, then has to do it again, and eventually Adebayo with the challenge almost wins it back for West Brom, and it does break into the path of Dwight Gale on the halfway line, far side the right. Tries to funnel the ball in field for Phillips, but in the end the ball never reaches him, and Howson is fouled by Gale, and it will be a Middlesbrough free kick on halfway. 31 minutes played, 0-0, and the game rather entering a period of stalemate. But here is Friend, finds Assombalonga, who is onside by the corner flag on the far side, the Middlesbrough left. He can't shake off Agazi, who makes the challenge, and it will be a throw into the home side.
Yeah, good defending again in the wide areas from centre-backs, and when you play against these systems you want to try and drag these big guys, maybe not quite so mobile, into the wide areas, but that's why now if you want to play this system you have to be decent out there, and that they've stood up to their tasks, and I think you'd say that defences have been on top more all in all, but it's going to be a long throw now from George Friend coming into the box.
And George Friend winding up for that long throw, a big run up and a big throw in as well, but there was a bit too much dip on it. Only finds Phillips at the near post. Friend heads it back into the penalty area. Brunt with the first clearance, and then the second one comes in from Livermore, but Middlesbrough have it back and they're enjoying a decent spell in this game. Shotton with the early ball in from the right hand side. There's a good header away from Adebayo. Friend encouraged to shoot. He does shoot. There's pinball inside the 6-yard area. Braithwaite looking to control. He tries to go the long way around Gibbs. Gibbs stood firm, and as a result Johnston is able to clear, and he quickly clears downfield. Gale was off and running down the right hand side, but the danger was spotted by Fry, and Middlesbrough looked to quickly turn defence into attack. 33 minutes played on Talk Sport 2. It is 0-0 at the Riverside Stadium. Middlesbrough, the current leaders of the young table after 4 games, playing a West Bromwich Albion side who will overtake them if they win here tonight. Gibbs with a ball down the line on this near side. He was looking for Rodriguez, and a combination of Ayala and Flint will find Clayton. So goalless here at the Riverside Stadium on Talk Sport 2 with Screwfix, proud sponsors of the EFL, here when you need us. And the ball has drifted out of play again on this near side for a West Bromwich Albion throw-in. They of course are the top goal scorers in the Championship so far. They lost their opening game of the season 2-1 at home to Bolton, who have used that as a platform for a very decent start themselves. Then Matt Phillips with a late equaliser, a 1-1 draw at Forest in the game which was played early due to the test match at Trent Bridge, as Braithwaite chases forward for Middlesbrough. On this near side is beyond Hegazi, a low ball across the penalty area. Howson will find Assombalonga, but the angle is too tight in the end, and I think many Middlesbrough fans are wondering why Howson didn't go for goal.
Yeah, I thought Howson would go for it for sure there. Good play from Braithwaite to put the ball into dangerous area. Howson showing again that he can get into those dangerous areas. He does well out wide, and that's where you want to get against the centre half. And Braithwaite lays it across. Howson could have shot that left foot, and then he lays it into Assombalonga and makes a difficult angle, but good defending from Brunt, but good play from Borough.
And the corner is a deeper one once again. Challenging for it was Ayala, and it was a free header 4 yards out, but he got really underneath it, and it's high over the top. And we're saying should Howson shoot there, but should Assombalonga be more alive to the opportunity?
He should, but I think when you're coming into the centre of goal, I think Braithwaite's play is excellent. I don't think the ball was too firm for Howson to strike first time. He's coming onto it. It's really good play from Braithwaite. He picks his foot up. I think that left foot, he's around the penalty spot. It's hard to see him unless you're right behind it. Is a defender for West Brom in the way, but then it's a little bit heavy for Assombalonga and takes him wide. Johnson's right on him, so is Brunt, and it's a difficult angle, but that's the best spell. I think Middlesbrough have been a better team, but then when that ball came in the box, Ayala will be disappointed he couldn't get over that, because there's a free header central to goal.
And the home crowd encouraging Sam Johnston to be a bit quicker with his goal kicks. 35 minutes played, 0-0. And West Brom's 2 wins so far this season in the league have produced 11 goals for them, 4-3 at Norwich, and of course 7-1 against Queen's Park Rangers. But Middlesbrough have shown they are a tougher nut to crack here. The 2 goals they conceded were both in the first half of the opening game at Millwall, before 2 late goals earned a point, and since then they've scored 6 times, all in the first half. 3 against Sheffield United, 1 against Birmingham, and 2 at Bristol City, and it's 3 wins in a row, and Middlesbrough are top of the table. And West Brom had a decent start to this game. Of course, the clearance from Flint hitting the crossbar, but since then, attacking-wise, they've rather lost their way.
Yeah, they found it difficult, and you can see why Middlesbrough are so good defensively, because when they do lose the ball, they work back, they get into shape, and they've got confidence, they know what it's about. So if West Brom are going to score tonight, I think it's going to come from a real bit of quality. I think either a transition of play or a real bit of magic.
Well, Middlesbrough have had 10 attempts on goal so far, but only 2 of those have been on target. West Brom with 5, and only 1 has troubled the goalkeeper. Adarabioyo with the header forward, the youngster signed on loan from Manchester City. He was involved in a couple of Champions League games in the group stage last season, so he's clearly on the radar of the first team management team at the Etihad Stadium. Now Downing turning into trouble, turning into Gale, and Barnes can bring it forward now for West Brom. Down the left-hand side, Gale makes the run into the penalty area, but he was looking for the ball further ahead of him. As a result, he was unable to gather, and Middlesbrough will clear. But again, they've given the ball away cheaply. Hagazi finding Phillips, who now has the opportunity to try and attack Friend again on the right-hand side. He puts on the afterburners, a high deep cross towards the far post. Rodriguez will try and keep it in place. Shotton doesn't deal with it, but in the end the referee has said that Rodriguez fouled Shotton, and it will be a free kick to Middlesbrough.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if Matt Phillips had kept the ball in play, but the linesman was right on the spot. A deep cross, probably slightly overhit. Soft sort of challenge on Shotton, but the referee was on the spot. He gave this the decision. I think Rodriguez is going to be a bit frustrated so far this evening. He hasn't had much service, many balls have come into him, not got in the play as much as you'd like, but that's what Phillips wants to be doing. He doesn't want to have to be tracking back towards his own goal. He wants to be having a run at Friend. Good battle going on. But as for Adarabioyo, I've been impressed with him so far. A young man coming in, he can win his headers, he's good when the ball's coming to him. I watched him against Forest, thought he looked a little bit ropey at full-back, but as a centre-back, he's been excellent tonight.
Well, it's been a feature to see a number of young central defenders from the top 6 doing well in the Championship over the past couple of years, and that's where the loan market really works for people.
It is, yeah, and whether they're defenders or strikers like Tammy Abraham, people like, they need to go out and play. There's no good playing in the 23 football, get a bit in the group stages like you're saying there for Man City, go and do the stuff, but this is where they learn their trade. Real football, playing tonight under pressure, and say he's done well tonight.
38 minutes played, 0-0 on TalkSport 2. Brunt coming forward now down the left-hand side. It was a poor ball from him behind Rodriguez, too far ahead of Gibbs, and as a result it will be a throw into Middlesbrough on this near side. Middlesbrough's transfer dealings were relatively modest compared to last season. Of course, Flint arriving for £7 million, Paddy McNair, who's on the bench, for £5 million, and they've used the loan market well as well, with Jordan Hugel, of course, coming from West Ham, and Mo Besic arriving on loan from Everton today, or involved for the first time today. But they made £43 million in the transfer window, Middlesbrough, with some big sales. Bamford, of course, moving on along with Traore and Gibson, and they spent £40 million in the transfer window last season under Gary Monk, who was really given the family silver and possibly didn't do enough with it.
Well, I think that shows you what a good chairman they have, though, in Gibson. He backs his club, and I think he had to let his nephew, go and do that. But it shows you can spend what you like, you have to spend it properly, and didn't quite happen for Gary Monk. I still think he'll believe that if he was given more time, he would have turned it round. But Pulis has been brought in. But this game is crying out for a Traore. If Middlesbrough had a Traore now, he'd be the one who could pick it up, he could drive, he can unlock the defences, and they'd be the sort of player. But when Wolves come calling, paying that sort of money, he has to go. But I still think there'll be some other good signings coming in from now to the end of the loan window.
And we can see on the monitor Tony Mowbray is here tonight, sat next to Gordon McQueen, I think. Tony Mowbray, of course, a legend here at Middlesbrough. He was part of the side who played at Hartlepool United open day of the season back in 1986, because Ayresome Park had been locked, and the club was reborn that day. Former Middlesbrough manager, and of course took West Bromwich Albion back into the Premier League on one occasion as well. And now back in the Championship with Blackburn Rovers, having taken them back up from League One last season.
You like mentioning all these West Brom teams that beat the Wolves teams at Owls and Mowbray, don't you? Because Mowbray did that to us.
It's clearly a recurring theme, but you can enjoy this season at least.
But Mowbray's a good manager. I watched his Blackburn team in midweek, and they showed some character to come back from 2-0 down to get a 2-2 draw. But as you say, a legend here, and his team plays some very attractive.
Yeah, the West Brom team he had in the Championship was probably one of the most attractive teams at this level in this generation.
Yeah, and they used to hurt us.
Players like Shearer and
Kevin Phillips.
Yeah. Here is Braithwaite coming forward now on this near side, slipping and sliding as Agazi. Shotton tries to recover the ball and he's won a corner. And Ryan Shotton delivers a very good ball in from the right-hand side. Agazi was aware of the danger, and it's another opportunity for Stuart Downing to try and cause some problems here with 3 minutes to play in the first half.
Well, Ayala got on the end of a corner from the other side, and they'll be looking to make one of these count. So far, West Brom have defended pretty well, but they've got to see it out just before half-time.
Downing's corner in towards that near post area. Rodriguez rising with a very good header away inside the 6-yard area, and it will be a throw-in for Middlesbrough. And a good crowd inside the Riverside, but it's been rather subdued at times. It's been a bit of a slow burner this game.
Yeah, they need the players to give him a lift, to be a tackle, a bit of magic, a bit of a moment just to lift them up.
West Brom has scored 10 goals in the second half of games so far this season, and Middlesbrough are yet to concede in the second half of games, so maybe something has to give in the second half. Of course, they scored 6 against Queen's Park Rangers after half-time last week. Thanks to our producer Guy, who had the abacus out to work that out. And it's going to be Shotton who will take a long throw for Middlesbrough by the corner flag on this near side, the right, with 2 minutes to play in the first half. 0-0 on Teesside. Not too much movement inside the penalty area. It's aimed towards Flint, who is beaten to it in the air by Hegazi. Rodriguez then goes down as he's challenged by Shotton. No free kick is given. Howson with the high cross to the far post. The bodies go up. Here is Braithwaite over the top from 6 yards, and that's the best opportunity of the first half for Middlesbrough. It fell to him so nicely, so close to goal, but he was unable to hit the target.
Fantastic chance, and he's been in good goal scoring form. He's sort of revitalised himself here at Middlesbrough, and for 7 yards out, he's under a little bit of pressure from Gibbs, but he'll be disappointed. The ball might have even come off the West Brom defender to go down. Doesn't quite sit for him, but Braithwaite will feel should be hitting the target, and if he did, 6-7 yards out would have been hard for Sam Johnson. But it's one of the first times that West Brom haven't dealt with an aerial ball into the box. It was a second phase, but just before half time that would have been a massive moment. Great chance of Middlesbrough, and they're the ones finishing the half stronger for sure.
Rodriguez looked to spin away from Ayala with a Cruyff turn on this near side. Tony Pulis was convinced the ball had gone out of play, but nothing was given, and West Brom now have the opportunity to try and finish the first half on the attack. And it still seems strange to see Tony Pulis managing against West Brom.
Still got the nice white trainers and a baseball cap though, hasn't he? You know what he's going to wear.
The gear's not changed, just the crest does. Ayala rising to clear on this near side for Middlesbrough, and it's another throw-in which will be taken by Kieran Gibbs into the feet of Gale, and now Barnes back to Gale again. It's decent football from West Brom, but it's not really hurting Middlesbrough. Livermore tries the high ball wide to the far side, but Friend is able to get there before Phillips and clear, but Middlesbrough rather careless in possession once again, and they've given the ball away. Here is Brunt finding Livermore. Now Phillips wide on the right-hand side. There'll be a single minute of added time at the end of the first half here. Assombalonga now has it for Middlesbrough as West Brom give the ball away themselves. Downing finding Braithwaite, but Bartley was too big and too strong for him inside the centre circle. Back towards Adarabayo, who was pressurised by Braithwaite, but he had the presence of mind to find Brunt. Back towards Agazi, the home crowd appreciating the press for Middlesbrough, but West Brom clever enough to find a way round it. Rodriguez down the left-hand side. Infield towards Barnes and back towards Brunt again, and West Brom are using much of the minutes of added time here to try and work the ball towards the Middlesbrough penalty area. Barnes finding Gibbs. Will the cross be delivered now? He's throwing a few shapes to try and put Shotton off, but instead he has to go back towards Barnes. Barnes now beyond Clayton on the outside, and Shotton had to slide in to make the challenge, and West Brom will finish the first half with a corner.
Yeah, good patient build up there from West Brom, and they're not even going to get a put in, but good defending from Shotton there.
And that is half time, so one really good chance to either side in the first half. Aidan Flint clattering the ball against his own bar following an excellent ball into the penalty area from Harvey Barnes. That was West Brom's best opportunity. And at the other end, just before half time, Martin Braithwaite seeing the ball drop to him 6 yards out, but he leant back and he boomed it high over the crossbar. At times it's been something of a stalemate. So as a result, at half-time, it is Middlesbrough 0, West Bromwich Albion 0. Thank you, Dan. There is the whistle to start the second half, although we have a false start with Britasson-Balonga deep inside the West Brom half, and a couple of Albion players went too soon as well. Middlesbrough, in their red shirts and white shorts, will be attacking the goal away to our left in the second half, and second time around we are underway. West Brom in their very dark blue, almost black away strip with sky blue facings on the front. Here are the two sides again for Middlesbrough. Randolph in goal, Shotton and Friend are the two wing backs, Ayala, Flint and Fry in the middle, Clayton and Howson in central midfield, with Downing, Assombalonga and Braithwaite in attack. For West Brom, Johnson in goal, it's Adebayo, Bartley and Hegazi, they're three central defenders, Phillips and Gibbs the wing backs, Livermore and Brunt in central midfield, Barnes and Rodriguez supporting Gale. And George Friend will take a throw in for Middlesbrough, almost level with the edge of the penalty area in the opening seconds of the second half, and it's flicked on at the near post by Ayala into the 6-yard area, and the only person there was Sam Johnston.
And you could see Britasson-Balonga just had a little look up and thought, I should be gambling there. I should be gambling that we're going to win this. And he might gamble 3 or 4 times, but the one time it does, he needs to be there to nip in front of the goalkeeper, and he was on his heels, and he knows that that could have been a half chance for someone who's a poacher. He scored some brilliant goals, but he's also a poacher. But a good start again from Middlesbrough, straight out of the traps, winning the throw-in in a dangerous area and getting that first contact on the ball into the box, which they didn't do too many times in the first half.
Busy week coming up for both of these sides. Middlesbrough in the Carabao Cup second round are at home to Rochdale here, as Rodriguez comes forward with a high ball in from the right hand side towards the far post. Barnes unable to control, but here is Gibbs, who will try and hit the byline. It's a good cross as well, which is too high for Phillips and gathered by Randolph. And next Friday night we will be at Ellen Road on TalkSport 2 for Leeds against Middlesbrough. What a game that promises to be. Assombalonga now down this near side, the left for Middlesbrough, has support from Friend inside, but Assombalonga, who's been a peripheral figure for much of the game, loses out to Livermore, and Phillips will wander forward up towards the halfway line with a meandering run for West Bromwich Albion. Now Brunt wide to the left and Gibbs. Barnes holding his run to provide the width, but it's back in field towards Brunt, who of course has been promoted and relegated with West Bromwich Albion previously, signed back in 2007, so he does have that experience of the Championship. Another player who does is Bartley with a high ball towards this near side. Phillips heads it in field. He was looking for Rodriguez, but it will be cleared away by Middlesbrough. Clayton with a good ball wide to this near side, the left, and Downing. Downing, though, didn't have too much happening ahead of him. Goes back towards Clayton. Here is Friend. Braithwaite makes the run down the centre. Assombalonga comes short, and there's a neat turn from him away from Adebayo. Bursting into the penalty area beyond Hegazi as well. It's his cross high to the far post. Shotton with the header under pressure from Gibbs. It must be said, but the goal was gaping, and Shotton goes over the top.
Well, Adebayo has learnt there, and this is why he needs to play in these games. He's stepped out of his hole. He's tried to nick it. Brilliant turn from Assombalonga. He hasn't done that much in the game, but direct, stands up a lovely ball to the back post, and it's hard for Shotton. He needs to try and get over and head it down into that bottom corner, but Kieran Gibbs knows he can't win it, but he does enough to put Shotton off. But good play from Assombalonga.
Howson driving forward now for Middlesbrough into the penalty area, low in, looking for Assombalonga. Cut out though at the near post, but the clearance from Barnes only finds Shotton, flicked on by Braithwaite. It was a sharp header at the near post, and Johnston going down towards his left hand side, palms it behind for a corner.
Yeah, good pressure from Middlesbrough. Good chance earlier with the shot and header, and there I thought Howson maybe would shoot. He didn't. Keep it alive, ball in, and you'd expect Sam Johnson to save it from there, but he palms it to a good area. But it's going to be another corner now. Lots of pressure.
Downing will take it, an in-swinger high into the penalty area, fisted away by Johnston at the near post, and volleyed clear by Gale up towards the halfway line. He tries to link up with Barnes, and now Gale plays it back towards Phillips. It's 2-on-1 for West Bromwich Albion. Phillips back towards Gale, left-footed shot from him, and the challenge came in from Clayton just in time for Middlesbrough. Gale seemed certain to give West Brom the lead, but he was put off at the crucial moment, and the shot balloons high and wide.
Well, it's Dwight Gale who clears his ball from the edge of the box when Sam Johnson punches the ball clear. He showed it in the first half, his desire to join up in the play, and to be fair to Phillips, he holds, he draws the defender in, but the pass maybe just slows it down slightly for Gale. Couldn't get the ball out of his feet, but Adam Clayton, we talk about Gale's desire to join in the play. Well, what desire from Adam Clayton? That is as good as a goal. When you track your team, track back, and you slide in there, and that is why about 4 of his teammates went over to him and high-fived him, because he stopped what would probably be a definite goal. Brilliant defending, but a fantastic chance for West Brom on the counter-attack.
And that is the danger for Middlesbrough. It was 2 against 1 for much of that breakaway, and if they remain as open as that at the back at times, they will be exposed.
Yeah, it's not like Tony Pulis had to let his team allow that, the decisions they made, and been so on top. To be caught out like that, that would have been very schoolboy, if you like. You always know you leave an extra man back, and then they nearly got caught out, but say brilliant desire from Clayton. I thought Phillips did a lot right. Drove, laid the ball off at the right time, but Gale couldn't quite get it out of his feet onto his left foot to get the shot in, but credit the defending. But when you've been so on top at the start of a half, to be undone like that, Tony Pulis would have been livid if his side had gone behind.
Shotton heads it forward on the far side, but he's been penalised for a push, and it will be a free kick. John Brooks, our referee here tonight. It's a very tight turnaround for him. He was in charge of Stoke's defeat against Wigan on Wednesday when he sent off Ashley Williams, and 2 games in 3 days seems a lot for a referee.
And I know the referees get a lot of stick, but in the second tier as well now, they're full time. I used to work at St George's Park coaching for an academy, the Nike Academy, and these guys work hard. You see the running they do, you see the gym work they do, you see how much studying the games they do, going over decisions. So when they get it wrong, it hurts them. They know they've got to keep getting better, but yeah, he's a fit guy, he's a quick turnaround, but at the moment he's keeping up with play, and one contentious decision made with the handball, but you can see why he didn't give it.
And we often have media days at St George's Park when the referees are there, and they walk past us on their mobile phones as well. Here is Fry with a back pass towards Darren Randolph, clears downfield, a long ball from him, right-footed, but it's beyond Braithwaite, all the way through towards Sam Johnston, who was wearing a Ribena coloured goalkeeping outfit away to our left-hand side. It's fair enough, isn't it?
It is.
Lilac. Good probably call something very exotic in the club programme, yeah, but it's Ribena.
We know what you mean, yeah. Definitely, when you say Ribena coloured.
It's a free kick for Middlesbrough on the far side, conceded by Harvey Barnes, who has done well for West Brom so far this season. He looks a very smart signing, only 20 years of age. 22,906 is the crowd here tonight. 652 have come from West Brom, and I hope all of them got here after a terrible day on the roads. Here is Rodriguez coming forward now from the right-hand side, finds Livermore on the edge of the penalty area. The ball squirts up as he is challenged, then Ayala with an all-or-nothing challenge on Rodriguez, won the ball, but only finds Gibbs. Gibbs plays it wide towards Barnes, in front of those West Brom fans on the far side, their left. Barnes looking to trick his way into the penalty area, poked it back in the general direction of Brunt, and it's cleared away by Braithwaite up to the halfway line. Asombalonga is then fouled by Adebayo, and the youngster will be the first player booked this evening.
Yeah, Adebayo, he's learned a lot, because you can see he's athletic, he's decent on the ball, but sometimes he gets a little bit too tight. So first Asombalonga caught him out a few minutes ago when he stepped in, he just rolled past him, and there he got a little bit tight, rolls and gets in a fight, and then wins a yellow, wins a free kick, but also a yellow card. I think with some of the other challenges have been let go, it's a little bit harsh, but now the young man's going to have to learn from that and make sure he doesn't make a rash decision.
Bartley clears away from the free kick. Braithwaite was lurking with intent on the edge of the area. 53 minutes played on TalkSport 2, the home of the EFL. Middlesbrough 0, West Bromwich Albion 0 at the top of the Championship table. Don't forget, tomorrow in the Premier League at 3 o'clock on TalkSport 2, it is Bournemouth against Everton with Dance and Ray Houghton, and then I'll be alongside David Connolly at the City Ground at 5:30 for Forest against Birmingham, a team who can't stop drawing against a side who simply can't score. And then on Sunday, it is Watford against Crystal Palace, the Sunday exclusive with Sags and Jim. 1:30 kickoff over on Talk Sport. And then on Tuesday and Wednesday of next week, there was two very busy nights of Carabao Cup second round action around the grounds on Talk Sport, and there will be commentaries here on Talk Sport too. Phillips with a very tight turn on this near side, a right-footed cross into the penalty area. It's controlled and then slashed high into the air by Ayala. Rodriguez is underneath it, nods it back towards Phillips on this near side, the right. He will try and evade the challenge of Friend, who sticks with him, but now Rodriguez down the right hand side. He was looking for Phillips to go round the corner, and now Phillips tries to find Rodriguez, but it's Stuart Downing who is back there doing his defensive duties, and he does well to avoid conceding a corner by lofting the ball down the line on this near side, the Middlesbrough left, into the feet of Assombalonga, who finds Clayton. Clayton holds on to it, then finds Assombalonga on halfway, who didn't see the challenge of Brunt coming. Brunt, though, was quickly challenged by Clayton and fouled by Clayton, and it's a free kick to West Brom midway inside the Borough half with 55 minutes played, 0-0.
Yeah, good pressing from Brunt there, but earlier good defending from Stuart Downing, tracking right back to his own goal. But yeah, Brunt nips in, and it's a clever little foul from Assombalonga and Clayton just to stop the play, because they know that they're getting in behind them. So West Brom having a little bit of pressure, but they still haven't really tested Darren Randolph in that Middlesbrough goal, and that is what will disappoint probably Darren more than most. They had the one chance in the first half when they came back on the bar. Apart from that, not really threatened.
Brunt's free kick high to the far post. Hegazi nods it down. Livermore hooks it across the face of goal, and really it fell to the wrong man there. Jake Livermore inside the penalty area. West Brom did have the likes of Rodriguez and Phillips also waiting, but it was Livermore who hooks it high and wide.
Yeah, they hold their line well, Middlesbrough, and when the ball comes in, it gets headed down into a dangerous area from Hegazi, but it wouldn't sit for Livermore. He's not really known for his goals, but still so many red shirts around them, and West Brom, I just feel they've got to do a little bit more. Every time Rodriguez is getting the ball, he's so deep, so far away from goal, he's in wide areas. Tried a little bit of combination play earlier with Matt Phillips, but there's not been many times when you've seen Harvey Barnes getting the ball. You're not seeing the Dwight Gale turn and get at him. So the half chance on the counter-attack, Clayton brilliant defending, the one that hit the bar, but apart from that, Middlesbrough have been the better side.
It's Middlesbrough 0, West Brom 0 on Talk Sport 2 with Screwfix. For the latest offers, visit your local store or screwfix.com. Here when you need us. As Middlesbrough have to defend again, and Barnes was streaking forward down the left-hand side, and he is being caught, and there may be the first yellow card of the day for Middlesbrough. It was Ayala who was out of position, and he fouls and gives a free kick to West Brom in a very dangerous area.
And we've been saying quite a lot in the game, the centre-backs have defended well when they got dragged into wide areas, but this is what these direct players want to do. They want to drag the centre-backs out there. Ayala, definite shove in the back. He knows Barnes has got too much pace from him, and that's why if you can get Barnes on the ball, you can get him running at people, get him building up speed, he's going to cause problems. He's going to hurt people. He's going to win you free kicks. We saw he can put dangerous crosses in the area. So now it's a booking a piece. Defenders both on them, and Barnes and Phillips will look to whip balls over, and this is a very dangerous area. It's hard as a goalkeeper. You don't know going to be in swinging, out swinging. Defenders have to hold their line. They're pretty zonal, couple of man-to-man at the back, but yeah, all come from Harvey Barnes getting on the ball and being direct.
Barnes and Phillips are over the free kick, which is far better than a corner. Down the left-hand side, every single Middlesbrough red shirt is back defending, and Phillips will leave the ball to Barnes, and this ball will be whipped in with some pace towards that near post area. Barnes with the delivery, and it's flicked on, and it's gone behind, and a goal kick has been given in the end, and it's another opportunity spurned by West Brom.
Yeah, it was aimed towards Bartley, and what they did was with Phillips trying to pull away off to the side, that meant that the wall split, made him Barnes more to aim for, but he can't get a clean header on it because Ayala is just strong and standing his ground. As much as Bartley's trying to back into, he'd have had to try and glance it in, but a very, very difficult header. So again, good defending from Middlesbrough, and that's what Tony Pulis does. He sets his players up well, his teams up well. He puts some of his biggest men, his best headers of the ball in good zones, good areas, and are defended well. But at least there's a bit more positivity from West Brom. Will give them encouragement, knowing get Barnes on the ball, things can happen.
And now a free kick has been given to Middlesbrough. The challenge from Jay Rodriguez, and it's getting very scrappy as we approach the hour mark here on TalkSport 2, the home of the EFL, and it's Middlesbrough 0, West Bromwich Albion 0 at the top of the Championship. Adrian Durham will be round the grounds tomorrow with all the goals as they go in. He'll be based at the John Smith Stadium for Huddersfield against Cardiff, as the free kick from Ayala looped into the penalty area, and under no real pressure and with no real communication, Carl Bartley backheads it behind for a corner.
Yeah, between them, you'd have thought, Sam Johnson, fantastic goalkeeper, maybe could give the communication, one of the other centre halves. So now it's going to be a needless corner they need to defend, because that ball came a long way. But poor communication in the West Brom defence.
Corner down this near side, whipped in by Howson, high towards the far post. It's controlled by Braithwaite. The Middlesbrough fans are appealing for something behind that goal, but the ball skidded through the penalty area. Braithwaite unable to control at the far post, and that will be a goal kick.
I'm just looking here though, the corner came in, it was a needless corner to give away, but alright, the moment's gone now, so just relax yourself. But they're still chunnering on at the goalkeeper. Now watching the ball that came back in the box at the other end with the free kick, and they're showing replays here, and clearly Ayala has hands all over Bartley, but he's wrapped round him, and Bartley's saying, look ref, he didn't just stand his ground, he's put his arms around me, that should be a penalty. So there've been shirt pulls, now arms around people, but still no penalties given.
And we did see at the World Cup a number of penalties were given for that sort of thing, and we thought, well, maybe that will be a change. But we often find the longer seasons go on after major tournaments, people forget what happened, as there's just a bit of byplay by the corner flag on the far side as Middlesbrough look to apply some pressure. Shot and has won the throw-in, and Bartley, who I still think is pretty unhappy with what happened previously, just make sure that things are delayed sufficiently so West Brom can sort themselves out.
You think the referee's having a little word with him now, saying I'm onto the shirt pull, so be careful. But I think Bartley's a bit annoyed as well, because he felt he should have had a free kick there. Shouldn't have been a throw, he got a nudge in the back, but now they've got a long throw to defend again.
Flint waiting at the near post along with Assombalonga. It's gone short towards Howson, who does well to control it, hooks it high into the box. Assombalonga believed he was pushed as he went for the ball, and eventually the shot is fired high and over the top by Stuart Downing. But there is all sorts happening in both penalty areas, and at the moment the referee is content to let it go.
It's difficult. At least he's being consistent at both ends. He's seen little tugs, little holding and grappling. He's not stopping anything. But if this goal had been given, it'd be interesting, because I'm sure that Assombalonga is in offside position, and although he doesn't head the ball, he makes a movement towards the ball, which stops West Brom getting a clear header on it, gets knocked down but fired over. So it'd be interesting to see if that goal would have been given. But yeah, a lot of pushing and shoving and pulling in defensive areas for both sides. 62
minutes played on TalkSport 2, 0-0 at the Riverside Stadium. Agazi tries to clear it, seemed to strike the arm of Howson on this near side. Friend will then try and win it back, but he's done well to pressurise Phillips, who is now heading towards his own goal, level with the edge of his own penalty area, but he does well to extricate himself very stylishly from that apparent cul-de-sac. But then Bartley is having a dicey couple of minutes, knocks it straight out of play, and it will be a throw into Middlesbrough.
Yeah, Bartley just needs to take a deep breath. He's an experienced player, knows about, but yeah, things aren't quite going for him. He's got a little bit ruffled. Great play from Phillips. You'd have thought Borough would have got the press on, but that's lifted them. That's lifted the Borough fans. You can hear a bit more noise, but yeah, Bartley just needs to recompose himself. Is that the word?
Yeah, absolutely. And did you find in your experience that referees in the Premier League officiated differently to those in the Championship?
Not really. I think that obviously the Premier League guys are they're at the top. They still try and all be honest, but yeah, maybe the Premier League managers and referees are a little bit more on it. They see things and when things happen quicker, but they still all very, very honest and give their all. But I think that the Championship guys are getting better because of the rewards and the quality of players in the Championship. But I think that he's been consistent, and that's all you ask for. As long as he gives the same decisions at both ends, you can't ask for any more than that.
Flicked forward by Rodriguez, firm challenge by Gale from Clayton, and Middlesbrough win it back. And now it's given away, but the free kick has been given for a challenge on Ayala, and from Middlesbrough's point of view, it's a good job it was given. Dwight Gale is furious with the decision, and now Brunt and Rodriguez are gesticulating towards the referee, and the yellow card is out once again.
Yeah, and I think it's going to be for Rodriguez the way he reacted, and I think it's just frustration as well, whether they think the referee should or shouldn't have given the free kick there. I think it's more with the lack of service they're getting, the lack of balls they're getting, and a lot of fight balls, and not really much quality into them. And when they came to West Brom, Dwight Gale or Rodriguez thinking, I'm staying here in the Championship, they'll be thinking, I'm going to be scoring goals, I'm going to be getting chances. But tonight they haven't really had much service, they haven't tested down Randolph, and the referee's on the spot there, and he's obviously taken exception to something that Rodriguez has said.
And interestingly, Craig Dawson is also on the bench for West Brom this evening, and that's his first involvement in the campaign. It did seem as though he would be on his way out of the Hawthorns. West Ham was mooted as a potential destination along with Burnley. He asked for a transfer, nothing happened, and he's on the bench here at the Riverside tonight.
He's going to have to win the fans back over though of West Brom, because I know that a lot of them are disappointed with the way he's gone about it, because it's a shame, because Bartley again.
Bartley's just allowed the ball to run under his boot. Howson will gather on the far side. Adebayo will clear the cross with a Sombalonga lurking with intent on the edge of the area, and at the moment Carl Bartley seems to be in the midst of the red mist. As Shotton tries to challenge Brunt and bring it forward on the far side, but the ball did strike him on the hand, and it's a free kick.
Yeah, and the fans aren't happy, but at this rate Craig Dawson will be, whether he's upset the West Brom fans or not, Carl Bartley's having a sticky 5-10 minutes now, so you could see that maybe he might even be replaced, and they won't want to use their subs to do that. Oh wow,
the shot is fired in from some distance, and Darren Randolph has made an outstanding save, and while everybody was thinking about other things on the field, Jay Rodriguez let fly from 35 yards out, right-footed, and Randolph had to react quickly to palm the ball aside.
And that's a sign of a good goalkeeper, because he's been underemployed, he hasn't had much to do. That's dipping, swerving, it's going to go right inside the post, but he hasn't only got two strong hands to it, he's moved his feet so well to palm that wide. But that's Rodriguez thinking, no one's going to pass the ball to me up there, so I'll just shoot from 35 yards, why not? Dipping, swerving, excellent goalkeeping from Randolph.
It started about a yard outside the post, but it was swinging in. Phillips with the corner, high into the penalty area, nodded away by Flint. Barnes controls left hand side, bobs and weaves beyond a couple of challenges, then a third, stays on his feet, which is good to see. Now Phillips again with a low cross towards that near post area, and there's an opportunity for Howson to run it clear. Tries to find a Sombalonga, but it's Phillips doing his defensive duties to get back and win it on halfway. He's found Barnes again, who can look to go beyond Shotton into the penalty area, curls it in towards the far post. Wasn't too far wide, but maybe he had players waiting for the pullback, but it took a deflection. It's another West Brom corner,
and that's better from West Brom. They're being directed, it's all been stemmed from Rodriguez thinking, I'll have a shot from 35 yards, let's do something about it. Then when the corner came in, because after Randolph had palmed it behind, you see Bartley going to the floor. I think that one would have been soft, but Barnes is the one getting on the ball. Phillips, Barnes, they're danger men, and they want to be going forward. And good little spell now for West Brom, but they have to be careful, because they're defending they could get caught on the counter attack as well, as Brunt's going to whip a ball in.
Well, Carl Bartley is saying to the referee, look, Ayala had hold of me, and there's so much pushing and pulling again. The corner high to the far post as Randolph rises to fist the ball clear. Livermore will try and control on the far side, but he's beaten to it by Howson. Howson then rides the challenge of Barnes, and he's away from Middlesbrough on the right hand side. Clayton inside, three wait for the cross inside the penalty area. Clayton now has time to size up the options. It's a high cross to the far post. Braithwaite was winding up for the acrobatic volley, but it's Phillips who does superbly well to dash back and put his head in and clear the ball away for a throw-in.
And the crowd are enjoying it, aren't they? You said they needed something to lift them, and now they feel the tempo rise, now they're getting excited. But again, we've seen it with Middlesbrough, great desire to get bodies back there, great desire from West Brom, and it's a vital little eyebrows, a little touch from Phillips to stop the ball getting to Braithwaite at the back post.
Well, we will see now the reaction of the West Brom fans, because Craig Dawson is coming on, and it's Tosin Adebayo who is going off. He gets warm applause. And are there a few boos?
Yeah, I think there are, and rightly so. He's got to win them back over, but there's a cheer from me because I find Dawson's name a bit easier to pronounce.
And there's warm applause from the home fans, because a former Middlesbrough Academy product, James Morrison, will also be coming on for West Brom to replace Harvey Barnes, course, he came through that fantastic academy under Dave Parnaby. Sold to West Brom for £1.5 million back in 2007. He's had knee and Achilles problems over the past couple of years, but if they can get him fit at this level, he will be a quality player. And his first job is to help defend the long throw from Friend in towards the near post area, and it's flicked on by Ayala, not too far wide of the near post, but Johnson had it covered.
Yeah, and that long throw coming in again. But for Morrison, he can make things happen. And how often do you see players score against their old side, their former side? I thought Barnes was just actually starting to affect the game a bit, so he'll be disappointed to have gone off. But Morrison, if he can get in range in that little number 10 spot in the hole, he can be dangerous. As for Dawson, he has to start now. He's going to stay here. So from now until January, he's got to be here. So he's got to do it right. He's got to work hard. That'll be the best way to win the fans over, get his teammates back on side, and also then go and get in the move. And if West Brom think he's worth more than what people are offering, if he goes and performs now, from now till January, then people pay that extra bit, and West Brom had every right to keep him.
Sombalonga on the far side, a sprawling challenge from Bartley, and it's another corner for Middlesbrough with 20 minutes to play on TalkSport 2. Middlesbrough 0, West Bromwich Albion 0, with Screwfix, proud sponsors of the EFL, here when you need us.
And West Brom, they've defended them very, very well all night, but it just takes one person to switch off and they could be punished.
Downing will take the corner. Another in-swinger. Rising is Rodriguez to head the ball away, and Downing will just allow the ball to go out for a throw into Middlesbrough. Sombalonga makes a dart towards the right side of the penalty area, but in the end, I think Downing was waiting for Shotton to come and take the ball off him, and it will be another long one into the penalty area, and this could be a first test for Craig Dawson.
Yeah, he's good in the air, he's good at attacking them, he's good at defending them, but what Rodriguez shows you, he's good at attacking, but he is so good at defending corners, throw-ins. Rodriguez has got the first contact on so many balls into that West Brom box.
Shotton winds up for another long one, hurled in towards that near post area, and it's flicked on and then flicked away by Bartley, and Bartley will try and lead the charge here for West Brom up to the halfway line, and he's cleaned out by Ryan Shotton, who will be yellow carded, and that was a cynical challenge as Ryan Shotton takes the yellow card for the team.
Yeah, definitely took one for the team there, and that's what the referees actually call it. When they come in and talk to you about that challenge, they say, we will book you if you take one for the team like that. And no complaints there from Ryan Shotton. He knew Bartley was breaking out, he was driving away, his team were having to recover, and cynical, took him out on the edge, right on the halfway line, and knew that he'd stop the attack that way. Luckily he hasn't hurt Bartley. First change
for Middlesbrough, and it's the return of Mo Besic, the Bosnian on loan from Everton, and Stuart Downing is coming off, so it could be a potentially defensive change. It'll be interesting to see how Middlesbrough reshuffle. There's applause from the crowd, which is reciprocated by Mo Besic as he comes on for the final 18 minutes on TalkSport 2 with the game still goalless.
Yeah, Besic's a good player, technically good, did well at the end of last season for Middlesbrough. Hasn't quite happened for him at Everton, and he'll be wanting to do well to make sure that this is, the loan is permanent, and he does well.
Phillips now down the right-hand side for West Brom. The early ball into the area, volley clear, 6 yards out by Ayala, and Friend looked to delay the clearance, but it was closed down quickly by Rodriguez, and Middlesbrough have the throw-in. Have they gone to a back four, or is it still the back five?
I'm trying to have a little look now. I think it's still the back five. Where's Besic going to play? It's hard to see at the moment, but I think it looks still like a back five to me. Yeah,
I suppose Howson could have more license to get forward behind Braithwaite and Sombalonga, and that's what he's trying to do now, with Besic and Clayton, who are more suited to be the defensive-minded players behind him. Now Dawson plays the ball across the centre circle. It deflects off the inner thigh of the referee, which almost helped out Middlesbrough, but West Brom regather. Here is Brunt, now finding Morrison, back towards Brunt again, infield to Livermore, and West Brom here playing some controlled football as we head towards the final 15 minutes. Morrison again, back towards Livermore, and under no real pressure, West Brom have been able to string together a dozen passes there, but they go back to their goalkeeper, Sam Johnston.
Yeah, Besic just sat in here as it's like a flat 3 in the midfield, isn't it? Like a 5-3-2, if you like, and Besic there. I think they're just going to drop off, set a trap, and then look to press high. But Besic won't want to come too much into the wide areas. So you say he's more defensive minded and just want to tick the ball over. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see.
Not really an ambitious change.
He's not the most. That's what I'm looking. I'm looking at the bench and I'm thinking the likes of Fletcher or Hugo, someone like that. Hugo would have been the one that you'd think, I want to go and win this. I'd bring him on. So I'm quite surprised to see Besic come on for a more who's more defensive come on for a more offensive play when you're at home.
Well, Dawson plays the ball across the field once again, but this time does find Bartley, and it's back towards the goalkeeper Sam Johnston, who clears long downfield once again. It's flicked on by Howson. There'll be a chase for Braithwaite, who has been quiet in the second half, and Johnston just about picks out Higazi on the edge of the penalty area, and it's Dawson who will clear, playing on the right of the back three. Livermore now with the opportunity to try and break forward for West Brom. Wide to the left hand side, and Brunt. Morrison losing out to Flint. Flint, though, gives the ball away to Brunt, and here is Livermore now, midway inside the Middlesbrough half. Infield towards Rodriguez, who maybe thinks about another long-range shot, but he finds Gale, who tried to backheel the ball back in field towards Rodriguez, but it wasn't really the sort of situation for that sort of frippery.
Yeah, if it had come off, it'd look brilliant, but when it goes wrong, then you look a little bit of a fool. It's a really good situation gone. You can see what he's trying to do, just backheel it for Rodriguez, who was playing a little pass and follow. But I think it'd be interesting to hear what the decisions were for both managers. I can understand why they maybe brought Dawson on, but why Barnes went off and why Besic came on instead of a more offensive player.
Well, Morrison tries to pick out the run of Rodriguez down the right now for West Bromwich Albion, but eventually it is nodded back by Howson towards his own goalkeeper. Some interesting games tomorrow in the Championship. Of course, Forest Birmingham at 5:30 is our commentary game on Talk Sport 2. Villa at home to Reading. Villa playing a side without a win so far this season. Brentford, who've had such an excellent start to the campaign, are away to Blackburn. Derby Preston, another decent looking game, as is Norwich Leeds, and Queen's Park Rangers, who just need something to go right for them. They're at home to Wigan. Guy, our producer, covers Wigan. Are you going to QPR tomorrow?
Certainly am, yeah, long trip.
I hope the traffic's better than it was today. He's leaving as soon as this game finishes. 76 minutes played. 0-0 at the Riverside Stadium. A long ball played over the top again for West Brom, but Rodriguez throws his head back with frustration. That's the look of a man who's had very little service in this game.
Yeah, they had to nearly make some magic happen. Decent save from Randolph in the Middlesbrough goal, but it seems to be a little bit of a lull again. The tempo had just picked up and it was really entertaining, but a little bit of a lull now. But people like Robson Kanu, Hugo will be looking, thinking, get me on this pitch, I can change this game. And I'd like to see that both managers just go for it and think this is a game we can go and win, and if they do, what a massive 3 points. But at the moment you feel it's a little bit more don't lose and really go and win.
Well, Robson Kanu scored both of his goals from the bench so far this season in the away wins against Norwich, or rather the away win at Norwich and the home victory against Queen's Park Rangers, as Sam Johnston takes on a Sombalonga and gets away with it inside his own penalty area. Goalkeepers who think they can be footballers, it's not a good thing.
You'd never see me do that. The Wolves fans will tell you, wow, fair play to Sam Johnson. He's been very calm with the ball at his feet.
Gibbs with the cross in for West Brom from the left, headed away back towards Gibbs again. Now Brunt, who is forced back to the halfway line, and Bartley. Phillips is the target of the long ball, and he gets rather caught under the ball as Friend missed it, and as a result it will just bobble out of play for a throw-in to Middlesbrough on this near side with 12 minutes to play. Don't forget, Bournemouth against Everton is the Premier League commentary, exclusive to National Radio on Talk Sport tomorrow at 3 with Dance and the team. Then on Sunday it is Watford against Palace on the Sunday exclusive from 1:30. And we have Forest Birmingham here 5:30 tomorrow, as Morrison comes forward for West Brom on this near side once again. Phillips offering support, but Morrison with the cross, which is too deep and gathered unchallenged by Darren Randolph.
Yeah, easy claim there, and not really much quality on the cross in there. Very routine goalkeeping for Darren Randolph in that Middlesbrough goal. And say both teams, I feel, are settling more and less for the point. I don't think they're committing bodies forward. They're taking real risks, and it's a shame, because I think the Championship has been really entertaining, really attacking. Still might be a twist now. A goal would be unbelievable because it would make the other side come out. But I think both teams are being quite cautious, in my opinion.
The guys pointed out to me there hasn't been a 0-0 draw here at the Riverside in 12 games, going all the way back to the end of January, where Middlesbrough drew with Sheffield Wednesday, and Jordan Hugill will be coming on shortly to try and change that in Middlesbrough's favour. Besic down the left-hand side has space to try and bring the ball forward. Braithwaite and Assombalonga wait inside the penalty area. Besic tries to go himself. The shot is blocked by Hegazi, and it's hooked clear by Brunt, and it will be a throw into Middlesbrough.
Maybe did Besic a bit of disservice there. He was direct, he ran through, he dribbled through the box, but snuffed out the danger eventually. But that was positive play from the Middlesbrough man. But Hugill coming on is a positive move for Middlesbrough.
Besic infield towards Howson, 35 yards out for Middlesbrough. Pace from him into the penalty area. He was looking for Friend, but the pass was short, and both he and Phillips arrived for the ball at the same time. Phillips was stronger, and he's brought the ball away. Up towards the halfway line, and Rodriguez, who tries to hold it up, but Clayton was all over his back. And Rodriguez just knocks the ball against Clayton, and it will be a throw-in. And here is the change. Britt Assombalonga, who has not really had an opportunity to impress in this game. There were a couple of moments when maybe he was flat-footed inside the penalty area, but he gets warm applause, as does Jordan Hugill, who is a local boy on loan from West Ham United, and his last goal came against Middlesbrough for Preston before that move on New Year's Day.
Wow, it's been that long, and yeah, he's not really scored, not given many opportunities at West Ham, so he'll be thinking...
Not a good club to go to at that time, really, coming from the Championship.
Yeah, it was difficult, pretty big price tag, so he's coming on now. He's got 10 minutes plus stoppage to put himself about, to chase, to try and get something, and he'll be thinking, just give me one chance and I'll make it count. And that's how you kickstart your career at a new club. And then he want to start and force his way into the starting 11. Assombalonga had been doing well, but he'd probably been wishing he had longer on the pitch, but he's still got enough time. And as I said, when I've gone away of England stuff, they're not called subs, they're called finishers. Can you have that big moment, that big impact on the game?
High ball played forward again for West Brom by Gibbs, nodded down by Brunt. Now Morrison away to the left-hand side, has Brunt in support. It's Brunt's cross, which is delivered, and it takes a deflection off Ayala, loops high into the air, and Randolph was able to gather on his goal line.
That's good goalkeeping. It's more difficult than you think. When they loop up like that and take the nick, you can put a funny spin on the ball. Randolph watched it all the way, knowing he's going to be in a bit of pressure. Good claim from the goalkeeper.
And Hugill is now penalised for backing into Dawson, and it's a West Brom free kick. 8 minutes to play, 0-0 at the Riverside on TalkSport 2. Rodriguez has now lost out to Besic, and there's an opportunity for Hugill to break down the left-hand side. Infield towards Besic, inside the penalty area now. Down the left-hand side, back towards Friend. Friend will go further back to the halfway line, and Clayton. It's a high diagonal cross from him towards the far post, beyond Hugill, who appeals towards the referee that his shirt was being pulled by Bartley, but if he's let everything else go, he couldn't really penalise for that, and it's a goal kick.
I think that was 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. That was more Bartley just standing his corner, standing his strength, and Hugill's got his arm up. Bartley's got a little pull on his sleeve, but as you say, if you've let other ones go like that, then you can't give that one.
Two boos from the home crowd as the former Newcastle man Dwight Gale heads off to be replaced by Hal Robson-Kanu, who has been the man for goals from the bench for West Bromwich Albion so far this season. His first touch lays it off wide to the far side for Gibbs, who will try and burst towards the penalty area. Back out wide again to the left, and the fresh legs of Kanu. 7 minutes to play, 0-0 on TalkSport 2. Robson-Kanu has time to find Brent. The early cross into the area, headed away at the near post by Ayala. Rising as Brunt to head it back into the box. Clayton will try and clear, and he's found Shotton, and Shotton will just help the ball away. Anyway, will do, up to the halfway line, and it's a throw in for West Brom on the far side. And if anything, they look the more likely goal scorers at the moment.
Yeah, they do, and we've seen late drama right from the first game of the season when it was Derby against Reading, so we're hoping for something like that here. We said something had to give, whether it is West Brom scoring in the second half or Middlesbrough's defensive record. At the moment it looks like it's going to be the scoring of the goals that's going to give, but yeah, West Brom are definitely getting on the ball more, making things happen, playing that width, but still haven't overly pulled Randolph into many, what you'd say, the top draw saves.
Livermore wide towards Phillips on this near side, back again towards Dawson, and it's a deliberate ball from him to find Brunt again, who has made the run across to this near side. Morrison pokes it into the penalty area. Livermore's round the back across the face of goal, and it's scooped behind by Flint at the expense of a corner.
Excellent positioning from Flint, good play, good link-up play, good run from Livermore. He does everything right to drive the ball back into a danger area, but good positioning from Flint. Sometimes you pick up the men, other times you take space mark areas, and he blocked a really important area there to put the ball behind for a corner, and now they've got to see out this bit of danger, which they've done all night. But much better play, and you say West Brom are the one that are looking the more likely.
Phillips will take the corner. Bartley and Dawson are both forward for the corner. It's laid short towards the edge of the penalty area. Rodriguez pings it in. It's blocked. Brunt with the return left-footed. Well, we've seen him score many spectacular long-range goals, but not this time. It's high over the top.
Yeah, for Brunt that is a half chance because he's got such a good left foot, but good play from West Brom to work and clear the space. The little pullback. It's probably a Pulis routine. I'm sure I've seen his sides do that, but Friend stayed alive to the danger to get the block from the Rodriguez effort, because the ball across was excellent. Then when it drops to Brunt, it's a difficult chance, but sometimes with the quality, you say, we've seen him score from there with his left foot, but couldn't get over it, and smashing it high and handsome into those Borough fans behind the goal.
5 minutes to play. And Martin Braithwaite is coming off now, and I think I heard a Middlesbrough fan close to us question this change, because another attacking player has been taken off, and it's Paddy McNair who will come on.
You can see why, and because they are the home side. It's 0-0. You've shown that you can create a few chances, and Paddy McNair I've seen him score a few goals when he was at Sunderland, but he's still definitely not. There's more attacking options, but if I'm Ashley Fletcher, I'm thinking, nah, he doesn't fancy me. In a game like this, when you want to go for a win, surely he should be bringing me on. He's not, so it wouldn't surprise me if Ashley Fletcher is out on loan before the end of this window.
And McNair seems to be playing behind Hugel. I mean, Bristol City often used to put Aidan Flint up front in the closing stages of games, and of course he scored goals, but Tony Pulis preferring his defensive abilities in the final 4 minutes here. 0-0 on TalkSport 2, as Bartley has the opportunity to bring the ball forward, instead goes in field towards Agazi, and there is just more impetus coming from West Brom in the closing stages here. I think Middlesbrough look like a side, even though they're the home team, who have settled for a point. Dawson challenged by Hugel, but you can see the adrenaline pumping through every challenge that Hugel makes, but he fouled Dawson. It will be a free kick tight to the touchline on this near side.
And that's what you saw him do at Preston in the Championship. I've seen him playing games where he'd go and flick the ball on and go and win his own flick on, chase it down, and he's harassing there, trying to stop West Brom playing out from the back. But both sides, there's surely one more chance. There's going to be one more chance for someone.
Johnston clears long downfield. Gibbs was the target on the far side, but it's straight out of play into those West Bromwich Albion fans, who are all on their feet in the portion of the stand on the far side, which is away towards the right. They used to have the away fans behind the goal here, but in an attempt to generate a better atmosphere, they've shoved the away fans onto the side, and there's not really been a clear-cut chance for either side in the second half. There have been a few oohs and ahs. Well, there was the Rodriguez shot, but that was a bolt from the blue.
Yeah, 35 yards out or so, and a couple of set pieces that have bobbled around a little bit or into dangerous areas, but really the defences have both been on top. And we talked about Tony Pulis. What's he most renowned for? Setting up defensive sides, and these are teams that have a lot of his stamp, a lot of his identity on it, and that's probably been the story of the match, if you like, the features of the game, with the defensive organisation and maybe not too many risks being taken. And it looks like it's going to finish 0-0, but as you say, there could be one more chance for one team.
2 minutes to play, still goalless here at the Riverside, and of course we saw a real contrast in styles in terms of automatic promotion last season. Wolves with their quality football, and Cardiff City, who were set up not to concede, and they won plenty of games 1-0 and deserved to go up.
Yeah, and I think that was a bit of what Neil Warnock, you know what he's like, he organises his players, but also the budget he had and the players he had at his disposal. But I think both of these sides here have Premier League players, have high expectations, have been spent a lot of money. Okay, they've lost some players, but still spent a lot of money, and they should be out there and entertaining and pushing for it. But ultimately, if you get promoted and you get over that line, then people will be happy, and this could be a good point for both sides.
Livermore looking to break down the right-hand side for West Brom as we tick towards the 90th minute. He's looking for support, and he's found it from Dawson. And Dawson's another player who is a fine finisher if he gets the opportunity. Now Phillips. Dawson thought about making the run into the penalty area. Phillips with a low cross in, which is scooped away by Fry. And Dale Fry is another player who's done well defensively for Middlesbrough this evening, as one or two home fans begin to drift away from the Riverside Stadium. Phillips will take the throw-in as Tony Pulis points and urges on from the technical area for the home side. Back towards Phillips again, and his ball doesn't pick out Livermore. It's Clayton coming forward now for Borough. He's challenged and he's fouled by Brunt, and it's a free kick for Middlesbrough as we head towards added time right at the end of this game.
Yeah, I think that is, if Brunt's arguing and saying it's not a foul, but I'm watching the replay now. Maybe a little bit of a dive actually there from Adam Clayton.
He was on the way down.
Yeah, he knew the trip was coming across, but yeah, free kick's been given and they're going to put it into the box now.
4 minutes of added time for either side to find what will surely be the winning goal in this game. Besic with the free kick, high to the far post. Dawson rises, he's lost out, and the shot is in, and Middlesbrough have surely won it. Right at the end, it's Daniel Ayala, and that is classic Tony Pulis. The 91st minute, one set piece, one error, one shot, 1-0 to Middlesbrough.
And you can't question him when you go and get the result. We said there'd be one more chance. There's a lot of focus usually on Aidan Flint, but Ayala scored a lot of goals from set pieces last season. He's in the team, and it's one of the first times that West Brom did not get a good contact on the ball. The ball's come a long way. They can't clear it out. Drops to Ayala. He's not the cleaner of finishers. He will not care. Into the corner. Sam Johnson no chance. And if Middlesbrough win this now, puts them clear at the top of the table, and then you have to say all the substitutions are right. But I think that Hegazi will be looking at it thinking, I've got a bit bullied here. I should be going attacking it. Dawson, I think, lost the flight of it, and the contrast between the two managers. Pulis delighted, more gutted if you like, and looks like the sorcerer's going to beat his apprentice.
Well, Dawson missed it, and then Hegazi, as you say, got bullied away from it by Ayala. Maybe struck Ayala on the arm on the way down, but there was no real intent. And Middlesbrough lead right at the end of this game, and whatever happens this weekend, they will be staying top of the table. Never mind the quality, look at the results. Here is Bartley at the other end, looking to rescue it here for West Brom, who are heading for their second defeat of the season already. And now Hugill is flat out. He was caught just inside the Middlesbrough half. Nothing is given. Hugill is still down in obvious pain, and the referee now has stopped play.
I think that Dawson just stood his ground and Hugill ran into him. But what will be interesting as well is, was that a foul from Chris Brunt? So Howson was on his way down. He's led to the free kick that's gone into the box. You can see why the referee gave it, but I don't think it was a free kick. And then has this ball as it comes.
Did it
Dawson
strike him on the hand?
Timing wrong. It has hit the arm, yes, of Ayala, and whether he meant it or not, it's given him a big advantage because his arm's there. He's sort of gone towards it. The West Brom players, though, they're not really appealing for it, but it's definitely struck his arm. And we were talking about VAR before. If that was a VAR, I would disallow that goal because it's given Ayala such an advantage, but still a good finish. But Dawson should do better heading that ball.
Now Johnston tries to clear it forward, but it's deflected off the head of Hugill, but Besic knew that Hugill was offside, the only player inside the West Brom half apart from the goalkeeper. And you can hear the Middlesbrough crowd, and again, those who left early may have missed the game's key moment.
And they're not complaining now about the style, are they?
Manuel Pellegrini was saying, you should never leave a game early, and if the game's tight, you never should.
Yeah, too right.
Now Gibbs looking to win it back, knocks it back towards Brunt. And now an opportunity for West Brom to try and build something. It's Dawson. He's caught late, very late by Besic, and it's a free kick for West Brom, midway inside the Middlesbrough half, with 30 seconds of added time to play, but we will have some added time for the celebration on the goal.
And if West Brom score now, Tony Pulis will be livid, because Besic doesn't need to go to ground there. So you've just seen that you've scored through that, so why now are you inviting the pressure and allowing all their big guns to come up and the ball get delivered into your box?
Besic booked. Brunt with the free kick. Left-footed, high towards the far post, headed towards goal, and it's over the top. It was Higazi who arrived on the end of it, and Darren Randolph not pressurised.
No, Middlesbrough defending well. Look at George Friend there, G'ing on his players. And Friendo, when he was at Wolves, was quite a quiet character. You see him now, he's a big one in that dressing room. He's got some big blocks in, and he's the one there. He's got that captain's armband on. He's G'ing up his players and saying, come on, let's see this out for what will be a massive 3 points. And if they can see this bit of stoppage time out, and it's been a tight game, we thought set pieces would be important, then that's what's going to be the decider between the two teams.
Randolph will clear downfield. We are beyond the 4 minutes of added time at the end of this game. John Brooks has a look at the watch, but still we play on. Hugel back towards Clayton. The early ball forward was aimed towards McNair, and we questioned the replacements made by Tony Pulis, but it's a central defender who has scored the winning goal. Now Johnson clears downfield, and that's it. Middlesbrough will remain top of the championship table. We had to wait a long time for the drama, but Tony Pulis has beaten his former club. Daniel Ayala with the only goal in the 91st minute, scrambling in after West Bromwich Albion failed to clear a free kick. They were the better side in terms of football at times, but they lacked a cutting edge. It's a second defeat in August for Darren Moore and his team. A young manager continuing to learn in the championship, but Middlesbrough have got the job done in classic Tony Pulis fashion. Middlesbrough 1, West Bromwich Albion 0.